So, back again. Figure we might as well do it again. So, I got something for you. Ukraine. Now, I know you just said, I don't want to talk about that. I'm sick of that. But here's some interesting little facts I found out. So, all these members of Congress invested in all these different things, right? So we had all these members of Congress invest in like wheat production and different defense companies like 14 months ago. All the companies that they invested in are quadrupling profits right now because of the Ukraine war. So little, and I'm sure people in the comments will correct me if I'm wrong, like Ukraine is like responsible for like 20% of the world's wheat, right? So the war isn't necessarily, it's a resource war. Ukraine is responsible for like 5% of all the resources that go around the world. That's a big percentage for a little itty bitty tiny country that might be like the size of like, I don't know, Ohio. So imagine that Ohio is responsible for 5% of the resources that are sold around the world, right? So all of these Congress people, Nancy Pelosi would be one of them, they all invested in these companies and they're quadrupling their profits because of the war. So like they literally want to go to war, right? Hillary Clinton just had a comment the other day. She was like, the U.S. needs to have a more prominent role in the response. So they want us to have World War III, right? But what they're not telling you is they're investing in these weapons companies and all these different companies that are affected by Ukraine, and they're making tens of millions of dollars off of it. So that's insider trading, right? Because how did you know to invest in wheat? Who invests in wheat? No one invests in wheat.
Why can't we invest in it?
Because no one ever thought of it, right? So that's insider trading, and they are making tens of millions of dollars, but they don't go to jail, you know. Nothing happens to them while we suffer the consequences. For no reason, we shouldn't be suffering the consequences for oil and whatnot, but, you know, somebody's got to pay back that stimulus money.
Pretty much.
They're going to get it back. We talked about this 2 years ago, though. All of that money is coming back one way or another. And it's not just the war. The inflation is them getting their money back. I was so happy. I went to BJ's and I got some stuff and I got some gas while I was there, and premium was $4.15. I literally almost crip walked in the parking lot.
You said crip walk?
Yeah, almost. $4.15, that's a blessing. I've been paying $4.69 a gallon for premium gas. So, and I never let my car get beyond half a tank, because if I do, it costs me almost $100 to fill my car up. From half a tank to fill my gas tank up, you just was in my car, it's tiny. It cost me $50 from half a tank. So yeah, they're getting that money back like we kind of knew that was going to be the case. That's my first topic. What do you got?
I don't know. You want to talk about the Pakistani guy that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Shot Khan.
And this is a black news channel that he owns.
So as of today, the BNC is done. There is no more black news channel. They have gone out of business, and they didn't meet payroll.
Let them know who those that are not familiar. You know, like the guy Mark Lamont Hill and.
Yeah, I don't know who else is on it because I've never watched it. But if you know who Mark Lamont Hill is, which he's reasonably young, relatively young guy. I'm sure you've seen him. He was his claim to fame was he was a writer for, I believe, the Washington Post. Yeah. And then he was also a recurring contributor on CNN, you know, the corporate media platforms.
Ex-Nuwaubian.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
you didn't know that?
No.
For real?
Yeah, I'm just finding out.
He has
today
the
years
symbol
old.
and all that shit on his arm.
Oh.
And he was on Sinetta talking about Dr. Malachi York.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, let me.
That's news.
So, for those that don't know, Mark Lamont Hill used to be a Nuwaubian. And he actually was the driver for Dr. Malachi York.
What?
Yes.
So he's Frank Lucas?
Pretty much.
Wow.
You know, so he told his story not on Sinetta's channel, on one of these channels. I forgot which one it was, but he went into like detail about how, you know, he used to sleep on the floor or at the Nuwaubian bookstore in Atlanta, Georgia. And yeah, man, it's believe it or not, I'm not the only idiot that joined the organization. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of us, and you know, yeah, he's one of them. As a matter of fact, he has the tattoo of the star and the crescent that Dr. Malachi York, the symbol that he used to rock with. I don't know what they rocking with now, but definitely he is an ex-Nuwaubian. This is not I heard it. Well, I heard it from the horse's mouth. If you want to look at it like that.
So that's deep, right? Like, I'm sure people, even I have to admit to doing this myself, that like, I know you and you're a smart guy. Like, I've always struggled with how. I feel like Kanye, how, Sway? How did this happen? So yeah, that just goes to show, right? These people, you know, Google him, Mark Lamont Hill. He might be like one of those actors to you that you've seen him in everything, but you don't know his name. Google him. I promise you've seen him on some media platform. That's shocking. That guy is like, I don't even know the amount of degrees he has. I believe he's a doctor, actually, of education.
He actually left.
He was a professor
he told
at
the
Temple.
story. He said he left the Nuwaubian. He said he left the Nuwaubian nation, and then after that, he didn't have nothing. He was homeless, you know, no money and anything. And then I think he said he had dropped out of college, and he went back. He went back to Philly, and I think he went to Temple, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a professor.
And then after that, you know, that's how he gradually came up and got to this point. But definitely, he was a Nuwaubian, and you know, he said, I didn't even know that. I knew that part, but I didn't even know that he used to drive. He used to be Dr. Malachi York's driver. You know, because Dr. Malachi York used to stay, he used to stay on a land called Tamaray, where they had several different names, Tamaray, Kadesh, you know, but he used to stay there. And then he got a mansion in, I forgot, Athens.
What? He got a what?
A mansion. When they caught him, we're not trying to get off the topic, but yo, this shit, you got to know that this shit is just interesting, for real. It really is, this cult shit with Dr. York and shit. But so he had a mansion. It was in Athens or Macon. I think it was in Macon. He had
Georgia. I'm like, Athens.
Yeah, Georgia. No. Nah. Yo, so he had a mansion. When they busted him, they busted in his house. And they found like $400,000 under his bed.
Of course they did.
You know, so he used to pick up Dr. Malachi York and drop him off, you know, going back and forth to Edenton, Georgia, where the compound was at, you know, called Tamaray, Kadesh. And, you know, he would take him back home, or he would actually, he told a story too that Mark Lamont Hill did. He told a story how he used to have to get his Dr. Malachi York's children. And one of them was, I think, paraplegic or something. So he kept that, you know, under wraps because, you know, of course, he's supposed to be this God. What does it look like, a God having a child but yeah, that's
deep.
It's a lot. You know, Kedar Massenberg? I think he runs Motown now. I think he helped produce music. Music Soul Child used to be Nuwaubian.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of, you know, like I don't feel too bad, you know, not that bad, you know, that these guys fell for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Anybody can.
Anybody can.
Yeah.
You know.
That's interesting. I didn't. So there you go. That just proves a point, right? Anybody. The thing that I notice about the Dr. Malachi Z. York and what's the dude name that likes little girls?
Nature Boy?
No, that dude's funny. The other one, the one that made the video of you. What's his name?
Oh, Polite.
Polite.
He said likes little girls.
Any of those guys. Nature Boy as well. I don't really know too much about Nature Boy.
Nature Boy said,
he's God.
I'm sorry, let me say, yeah, he said he's God, but that's what motherfucker said in the last video he did. He said, so he has these people that follow him. The man, it's like about 5 or 6 of them, and then it's about 4 or 5 girls. He said, I don't want none of y'all motherfuckers around. He said, I'm not lying, send me the LGBT community. They can worship me. And he said, I'm no longer he was looking for a chiefess, so a female counterpart. He said, I'm no longer looking for a chiefess. I'm the chiefess and I'm the chief. So he's going into this whole different fucking vibe. Whole different vibe. But prior to him forming Carbonation and all that stuff, he admitted that he used to strip. He used to be a gay stripper. Yo, listen, let me tell you something, man. The conscious community has gone ape shit.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's nothing wrong with your sexuality and all that. I'm just talking about far as what the picture that's being painted far as dealing with the conscious community. Yeah. And how it looks now. You know, the reality of it. Here you have, you have Polite. He likes little girls. Nature Boy said, send me the LGBTQ community. He likes everything. Yeah. Dr. Malachi Z. York, he's in jail doing 135 years.
Why do they all seem to like kids?
I don't know. Here you go. Maybe you can figure that out. I don't know.
I can't figure it out.
I don't.
What I was gonna say is the thing that they all have in common, though, they're very charismatic. They're very good with their words. They're very educated, and they say the right things. It's like a Batman reference. If you ever seen The Dark Knight, that's the one with Heath. Yeah, The Dark Knight, the Joker. Batman, the guy that shoots Gordon, that they think kills Gordon, but no, not Two-Face. There's just a random guy. If you remember, they were doing the funeral.
Oh yeah.
And he shot him on the stage. He faked his death, right? So the guy is basically getting ready to torture him, and he's like, he wants you to do that. Like, the Joker, the people that follow the Joker are attracted to what the Joker has to say, right? So the Joker obviously is going to attract criminals and psychotic people because he's psychotic. That's the same thing I get from these leaders, these cult
Hold
leaders.
on, so you saying am I psychotic?
Not psychotic, but
This is saying you attracted those. I'll say this. I'll say that I wasn't psychotic, but part of the reason why I was attracted to him, was because of the fact that because of the fact that I didn't have a father figure in my life. So I was looking for that father figure. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I didn't have an identity. You know, I didn't know who I was at that time. So it was easy for me to join that community because that community was my version of a gang and being initiated. You know what I'm saying? Joining the gang and being part of something. They had with the conscious community, what Dr. Malachi Z. York did, which was genius, you had uniforms.
What do you mean, uniforms?
Yeah, everybody wore the same uniform. Like they had, like when you went to the land, everybody would wear these red tar bushes, and they would be in all black. And the all black symbolized the all, you know, being in darkness, you know, and that all is El Kalums, you know, that's what they used to say. And we used to have these little things, you know, mantras, and it goes like all is in me, and I'm in the all, and the all is in me, and I'm with the all, and the all is with me, and it's just a whole lot of mind shit, you know what I'm saying? So that was the thing about him, you know, he had everybody was in uniform, and there was no I in team, so we thought it was group thought, you know what I'm saying? We didn't think on an individual level. And we dressed like him, we walked like him, we talked like him. I didn't go as far as like to where, so he would have this, they would cut their hair, it would be different hairstyles and different uniforms. It just depends on what school you were in. You know, the last school we were in, I think it was the Moors and shit. So he had this rat tail, he cut his hair all bald, and this is the early 2000s. So rat tails is done, it's over, it's a wrap. So he would cut, he had all his hair cut bald, and I had braids at the time. I wasn't cutting my fucking hair, it wasn't gonna happen. So he had a rat tail in the back, and he used to wear lug boots and some other shit that he had. And
I haven't heard that.
Oh, the edge up. He had a certain edge up that everybody would wear. Or then he'd wear glasses, and he would do this all the time to push them up. And you would see a lot of people imitating that shit, emulating that in class. You know what I'm saying? Each bookstore that I went to, you had a wannabe Melakazi York that look just like them, act like them, talk like them, teach like them, and all that shit. Yeah. I really truly believe, like seriously, I want the white people to make a movie. I want this shit to be Warner Brothers. Yes, the fucking rabbit hole. I'm just telling you what I know.
Yeah.
I never lived on the land. I never lived on Tamaray. So the people that live there and experienced it.
It's not sensational. It's not sensational enough. So I did watch a documentary about Jim Jones.
So are you saying nobody died?
No one died. I mean, he did molest kids, so that's also probably gonna, you know, blackball him from profiting from making movies, right? Yeah. Then he can't profit from making movies because the government will take anything that he gets. And then it's not sensational enough. There isn't any, in this generation, there needs to be video footage, emails, text, there has to be like visual evidence of his actual crime. So the
raid wasn't enough? They had a raid on the land. They raided it, came down, motherfuckers, SWAT team, all that shit.
I actually watched a documentary on him on maybe YouTube. It's like 45 minutes long. It was fine, it was interesting, but it's not interesting enough, right? Because, you know, join the club. He's one of many people that manipulate people to follow them. What I was gonna say though, before we get off of this topic, is the guys and girls that follow those kind of people, they're looking for something, right? So maybe they're lost and they want to be a part of something, and this gives them an opportunity to be a part of something bigger than themselves. Maybe they don't know their own identities yet. Like they didn't have the right environment to nurture whatever it is that they are developing into, so they're searching on their own. They don't have the right support system around them. There's lots of different reasons as to why it happens. It's still, knowing you personally, it's like you're such a headstrong, stubborn dude sometimes that it's just shocking to me, but I know you after the fact, right? Like, I guess we've been friends for 21 years or something, 22 years. So this happened before that. So I didn't know where you were and what you were going through at that point. But yeah, you just gotta be careful.
But I do want to speak on the behalf of myself. Like when I met you, I didn't give you that. That was like, I think you learned about that shit when
gradually.
When when you came back up to Raleigh, and then I got back involved in it. You know, other than that, when you met me, I had just stopped selling bootleg movies, and I was drinking and smoking cigarettes. I was a backslider.
You were definitely, you was getting your ninja on back then.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, enough. I have to say, for the sake of me and you, I think Dr. Malachi York has had enough of your timeline.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I feel like that's put to bed, and really, outside of being something trivial, like, we're never going back on that topic again. That's just part of the past, just like other stuff is part of the past, you know?
It only got brought up because of Martin Luther.
Yeah. Next topic, inflation. Let's talk about that. So, aren't you tired? That's a question. Aren't you tired of going to the store and they never have what you want? So I was looking at Fox Business, and I believe Rand Paul was on with Cavato, whatever his name is. And Rand Paul said something. You know how I would say, you have this profound epiphany moment, and it's just like the most simple, like something you told me. It's the most simplest solution that you never even considered, and you just sit there like, that is profound. Why didn't I think of that 6 years ago? So Rand Paul was saying that the inflation and everything that's happening, everybody wants to look and point to one singular event that caused this. It's actually been building up to this for many, many years. So the first issue was everybody wanted to stop going to the mom and pop stores. Everybody wanted to go to Walmart, Target, Kmart when it existed. I don't know if Kmart still exists or not. But any of the big stores, the big supermarkets, Publix, all of those, right? So we put the mom and pop stores out of business. And then everybody wants to order online. They want to order from Amazon. They want to order from this. They want to order from that. So that depletes the people that transport the goods. So those people were losing their jobs because you didn't need as many of them. You can kind of create more carrier services that deliver the Amazon goods, right? Rather than the truckers driving it cross country. That depletes them down. You can make one big trip, and then you have these small carrier companies delivering the goods in specific regions. I'm sure that's how they work that, right? Then we told everybody for 2 years to stay home because of this virus. And then during that process, all of these companies let people go. So now we have this crazy increased demand for goods. We don't have anybody to actually take the goods off the pallet, put it on the truck. We don't have people. We don't have labor. We don't have a workforce to meet the demands for the goods that we have. So it's not about, it's not enough microchips. It's not enough this. It's not enough that. It's actually, we don't have a workforce anymore. So now we're saying, okay, now everything's all good and everybody can take their mask off and go live your life. And people want to get back to going to Walmart and being able to find all the stuff that they want. Yeah, but the people that used to do that, they can now work from home, right? Because we changed the world. They went out and found different types of jobs. They don't want to do labor jobs anymore. They don't want to do hard labor jobs for $15, $17, $18 an hour when they can go do a data entry job for $25 an hour, right? So now we don't have anybody to do those jobs, so we can't get our stuff. So when you go to the store, you need to be very strategic about how you spend your time. You need to buy stuff in bulk, like toilet paper, the things that will go off the shelves in an emergency. Pay attention to the levels and the amounts of that you have in your house. So if you were to open up that closet right there, you would see I don't hoard, but I have several packages of toilet paper, paper towels, soap, things like that I know for a fact if anything happens, Russia and the United States escalate into, a bigger incident, everybody's going to go to the store and they're going to buy all of this stuff because we don't care about our fellow person. We don't take what we need and leave some for you. I want it all. I don't care that you can't get any. So pay attention to that kind of stuff. That's the true nature of inflation. Is they're making it like the Hunger Games, where this half can have and then this half cannot have, and there's not going to be any middle, where most of us, the majority, 99% of the people that look at your videos are in the middle. You're not going to be able to be in the middle. You're going to have to either have or not have. So pay attention to things like the shelves in your stores.
I want to add on to that too. Like, I agree with everything that you're saying. So being that there's not a workforce, then it's easy for them to come in, initiate automation, where they don't have to. And I've been telling them this, you know what I'm saying? Like, where they don't have to, robots don't have to take time off. They don't need breaks. They don't have children. So therefore they don't need daycare. They don't need health insurance, dental insurance, none of that stuff. Robots can be charged up and they can last several different hours or whatever, several hours without eating, without eating, without having to use the bathroom, urination, feast, defecation, defecating, any of that. I don't, hey, boss, can I get a drink of water? Robots don't do that. Boss, can I go use the bathroom? And you don't see the guy for an hour and a half. Robots don't do that. Robots don't talk back. So man, do you think that this is a grand design though? This was, or it just happened that way?
No, I don't think it just happened.
What I'm saying is, do you think the conspiracy theories,
the New World Order?
Yeah.
I think
I'm sorry. But recently Joe Biden said some shit. He was talking about something, and then he said, that's how we're going to initiate the New World Order. This was something recent that he said.
They say it all the time, but it's not as nefarious as we want to try to make it into, where, it's... Remember the back in the day where it was the turning into reptiles on TV because it was pixelated? Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, with the eyes.
Stop it. They're the reptilians.
Yeah.
And stop it. It's not like that. There's always been a New World Order. You can even say the Illuminati is a real thing. I mean, if you base it on what the principles of the Illuminati is, right? A small group of people controlling everyone. What's so sci-fi about that? That's literally how it is. A very small group of people, 1%, control the other 99%. It's simple. So let's get back to that. That's a good segue into that. So the BNC, I think was the name of the channel, Black News Channel. So as of today, they're out of business and they couldn't make payroll. The owner of the Black News Channel, his name is Shad Khan. If you're a sports fan, he's the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's the only non-European owner in the NFL, and he is of Pakistani descent. And I sent you a picture. He's absolutely Middle Eastern, right? He is the one that actually agreed to start this channel. But as
the Black News Channel.
The Black News Channel.
Short attention.
So for 2 years, he's been trying to shop that to someone else to buy it. Like, hey, buy this. And then they had not one single offer. So he's decided, you know what? I'm not paying anyone. He made everyone take a 50% pay cut a year ago. And then now he's just decided, I'm not paying payroll. Oh, by the way, while I'm at it, channel's out of business. The BNC no longer exists as of today.
Aren't they still running
No, it's done.
It's done.
As of today. I don't know if it'll still be on TV for a couple of days because, you know, TV's pre-programmed out weeks in advance, but there will be no new content on that channel. It's done, right? And we were talking about the fact that here's another circumstance where, you know, African Americans, blacks, minorities, whatever name you like, the pronoun you want to use for us, there's an opportunity right there where we could have did that on our own, and we choose not to. What we were calculating, Jay-Z and Dre, between the two of them, they're probably worth $6 billion or so. That's enough to start a news network. I mean, there's people started. Joe Rogan got 15 million from Spotify to move his content to Spotify from YouTube. 15 million to move his content off of YouTube to Spotify. So he literally was doing the same thing you're doing with better equipment and got a $15 million paycheck to take that content and all future content to be held and played and used through Spotify. We can't combine some things and grow something. We wait around for other people to extend the offer to help us, and then when it goes left, we're looking around like, oh, we've been wronged. Yeah, you have been wrong. Try a venture like this on your own, and you'll be in control of how that venture begins and ends. You'll have full control, and if it's not successful, it's not successful, but at least you had control over it, as opposed to this situation. They're all sitting around, you know, like little Timmy, can I have some more, please? Waiting for him to pay them their paychecks, and they're not paying it. He's like, I'm not paying you. After making them take a pay cut. Now, not only did I take a pay cut, but you're not even going to give me the 50% I agreed to. And I don't have a job anymore.
So, I don't want to, like, I'm an asshole anyway, you know, but it's going to get worse. I think that, and I've said this several years, and somebody's going to take it, you know, but I've said that what we're breeding now is genetically modified niggas. It's just that plain and simple. The conscious community in particular always talks about how great we were back then. We're not Moors, we're not Egyptians, we're not comedians, we're not the ones that built the pyramids, we're not the mathematicians, we're not the ones that the first ones that developed, you know, language and all of that great stuff, you know. We're none of that. We, in this day and time, we're just plain old niggas that have, like, oh man, I don't want to say that. Fuck. Cause I know people are gonna, like, really get at me like that. Like, why did you say that? But we have, like, small, like, talents that came up out of throughout all of the years, you know what I'm saying, that just was, like, handed down to us. But we're not these great gods, you know, or, you know, these great people that, you know, that lived in Timbuktu or some shit like that. We're not that. We're just regular ass people that just want to be used. That's it.
Wow.
You know, for Jay-Z, Dre, and Kanye to get together, they can make something happen.
It's like what?
But
15 billion.
But the problem is that they know that black people will not support them. They know that to be a fact. J.R. Smith, I don't know if you've seen a little snippet from him on that show with Ocho Cinco. They have. You seen the Ocho Cinco, and it's a dude with dreads. It's 3 of them. You never seen that show?
No.
Well, he was on that show, J.R. Smith, and he was talking about how they always have to go to UCLA to practice. And he was like, why can't we bring our money together and make it happen where we can have our own basketball courts and different things like that? Well, the simple fact is nobody wants to invest in it. The only type of money, real money, where you can make some good money as far as dealing with the, getting the black dollar is straight up genocide. Like, you could rap about shooting and killing each other. People buy that shit. Black movies that have something about slavery, the hood. It's just, our race is fucking doomed because we have became, what's that title that they give us? I forgot the title, but definitely we're nothing but consumers. We're never gonna own anything, of any type of importance. We're just fucking slaves, man. It's just, that plan is sad. It's sad to say, but it is what it is, And I've learned that I can, speak my mind and, let people know how I feel. And some people may say, well, man, why don't you take it a step further? Instead of talking about it, be about it. Action speaks louder than words. But the problem with that is, I've already done that.
Who's going to support you?
Who's going to support me? I've already done that. I've already went to the hoods. And I went to the hood and I was talking about peace, my brother. Black man is guarded. And you know what he... hold on. You know what he did? The dude did? He said, all right, cool. Run your shit. He took my license. What the fuck can you do with that?
You know how hard it is to have to go to D.
Exactly. He took everything. So people in the hood don't want that shit. They don't want that shit. People in general want what they want. You find it nowadays, it's hard to even tell a black person that he's African. Oh man, I ain't African. I'm black. I was born here, and that's what it's gonna be.
Africans say the same thing, funny enough. I'm not black.
Yeah, I'm not black. I'm such and such and such. So I mean, we're just permanent consumers. If you thought for a second, if you can trace yourself back to your heritage, prime example, Africa. I don't think that all black people came from Africa. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying vast majority might have. But if you could trace your lineage back, and let's say you were from Congo, right? And you were able to say, okay, this area right here, this is where my family is from. And you were able to claim that land. Maybe that land might have had some type of minerals, gold, or something where if you claim it, you can get that land, the minerals from that land and make some profit off of it or something like that. Instead of buying gold and all these chains from East Arabs and shit. It just doesn't make sense. It's ass backwards. You're buying something from somebody that took from your land. Well, that's if you can prove it. But we're just gonna be consumers for the rest of our lives and is never own shit, and we're cool with that, so I mean, when you got that type of attitude, what I supposed to care? I supposed to give a damn? I supposed to keep on drilling it in your head? Let's get it together. Let's get it together. Let's get it together. You know how many fucking rap songs have been out? Self-destruction, all these fucking Peace, my brothers, and all this shit. Brand Nubians came.
I just feel weird. I just did this.
Yeah, that's the Malachi York shit.
I would never do that again. I feel it this way.
Yeah, so it's like permanent working force. I think that's the proper name for it.
You born in this country. COVID. You born in this country. So if you're born here in America, you are going to work. One way or another. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. You're going to work harder if you're an entrepreneur, right? You're going to work twice as hard. You take your approach to it in mind. I work in corporate America. I have for years. I have no intentions on changing that anytime soon. I work 8 hours, sometimes maybe 10 if I have to, to get a project done, whatever the case is. And then I'm done. I go do other stuff. Your schedule is 24 hours a day. You can't. You are completely reliant on yourself. You can't take time off. You can't say, hey, I'm gonna play some Xbox for an hour. You can't. Like, every moment is significant to you. So one way or the other, you're gonna work. It doesn't matter. Let's segue into something else. So a lot of the times I see a lot of the comments in your videos. By the way, y'all, I do read the comments. And I see like people say things like, oh, how much is this? And how much does it cost to live there? And oh, you know, they don't have any jobs down there. First of all, stop looking for jobs. How about, if you're not gonna be an entrepreneur and you haven't displayed some talent that someone's willing to pay you for, which people who are talented probably start showing signs of that talent by like 8. So if you're not 8 years old looking at this video, if you're 28, those talents, you're not gonna probably be an NBA player, MLB player, NFL player. You're probably not gonna be a rapper. You're probably not gonna be an actor. You're probably not gonna be any of those things. So stop looking for jobs. Be smart about it. Jobs will always fluctuate, right? They'll always, oh, this job pays that, and that one pays that, and I gotta live here because this one has this city has a bunch of factories, so that means there's factory jobs, and I can work. Stop. Get a career, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to college. You can be a career truck driver. You could be a career electrician. You could be a career plumber. You could be a career mechanic. You could be a career fence installer, right? There's so many things you can do. You could be a career pet groomer. You could be a career car washer. You could go buy yourself a van and have a mobile car wash, and that could be your career. Stop talking about jobs. Carpet cleaner. You could be a career delivery driver. That could be what you do as a career.
But that only proves my point. When they say, you know, that there are any no jobs, what you just said, some people may run with that. Most people not. Most people just want to get a fucking job, and they just want to work and get a certain amount of money. If they need to make a little bit more, they'll go OT or they'll find a second job. And that's the point that I'm making. Nobody wants to initiate like more responsibility in taking control in their lives. So it's, if I can do the very minimum just to get by, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I mean by permanent working force. I understand that if you live in America, you're gonna have to work. But it's a thing where you can work smarter. And this is what you're talking about. Yeah. Having a career. That's not what the average black person is gonna do. It's just in their genetics to just, hey, I wanna go out there and get a job, and that's that. You know, and if I had to make any extra money, I'll go OT, or I'll get a part-time job, or I'll get another job. Other than that, it's not so much of, let me take the time out to take these classes in order to become a professional plumber, you know, electrician, you know. I don't have time for that, you know. I'm just gonna go ahead and get me a job at McDonald's, and then when they replace your ass with a robot and shit, then it's like, well, let me move on to something else, you know. So I kind of get it, and I don't get upset with these people, and I don't like saying these people, but I don't get upset with people, you know, anymore, because that's where they want to be, you know. And they continue to ask these questions, like, how the jobs down there? First and foremost, like, I hope y'all ain't just looking at my fucking video, at videos on YouTube, period.
Google is your friend.
Yeah, exactly. Do your own research. Some of you all, I don't even respond back, because it's like, hold on, are you just relying on me for the information?
Wait, hold on. First of all, how do you respond to a question, how are the jobs down there? They're like jobs.
Yeah.
How are the jobs where you live? Like, do you go for 8 hours and then they pay you a check at the end of the week? Well, they do the same thing here. That's the answer. Like, what kind of question is that? Are you asking, is there a bunch of factories so you can bounce from factory job to factory job? And let me say this, because this could come across like me being dismissive of people with hard labor jobs. I'm not dismissive. The way I see it, I respect anybody. It's a talent to wake up and go do something you don't necessarily want to do 8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. Sometimes people do it at night and they're not really those kind of people. Some people that get up in the morning, I hate the mornings. I don't like nothing about the morning. I get up every morning at 6 o'clock and I get my day started. That's a talent in itself. So don't sell yourself short. My opinion is anybody that gets up and they do that, I respect you. Because that takes a lot to get up and it's raining or it's cold or it's hot or you had a stomach ache or your girl just pissed you off.
Or you're on your period if you're a female.
That, your kids are idiots. They didn't walk the dog like they were supposed to before school. Now you gotta clean dog crap up and get ready for work, and it's traffic, and your radio isn't working, and you do it every day. I have nothing but, I don't care where you do it at. You could do it at Taco Bell. I would never look down on anybody who gets up and says, I don't want anybody to hand me anything. I'd rather work for it. However, with that being said, I look at and read at a lot of your comments, and they're very low level achieving. Seems to be okay. They don't want to. So let me give some personal information. So I am doing all right. I make pretty good money. I have a nice place. I drive a nice car. I got money in the bank. I don't necessarily have any struggles financially. I ain't rich, but my bills are paid. I don't need anybody for anything. I don't need a girl to live with me to pay half the rent. I'm good. That's not always how it was. So I quit high school when I was 15. My mom kicked me out of the house. She sent me to live with my dad. My dad couldn't control me. I didn't go to high school again for a couple of years. When I was 18, 19, my grandmother was like, you gotta go back to school. So my dad kicked me out too. So my parents were like, that's enough. So my last place to go was my grandmother's house. My grandmother was like, listen, if you're gonna stay here, you gotta do something. You can't just sleep on my couch. So I was like, cool, I'll go to school. They paid me a little stipend. That money I used to buy weed, and sneakers. That's all it was. I didn't have any other expenses, right? So I went to this thing called Urban Strategies. And if you're from New York and you're my age, you know what that is. And it was this program they had that was intended for the hood, low income people. You can come there if you were a high school dropout. They help you get your high school diploma.
I'm sorry, man. What made you go to that program?
My grandmother. She
So
found
you
it.
had someone.
I had support.
I got you.
She found it. She took me down there. I was resistant. No, I don't want to. And I think at the time back then they paid me $200 or $225 every 2 weeks or something like that. So I was I didn't have anything else going on. I was your typical 18, 19-year-old dude in New York sleeping on his grandmother's couch with some nice, a line of Jordans, but didn't have a pot to piss in, right? I started going there. The program was set up for you to first get your high school diploma or a GED, depending on how far removed you are from your high school class. If you could get your high school diploma, you could go to night school. As long as you didn't look like a 48-year-old man, they put you in night school. and you take the classes. You could take the classes at like John Jay or any of the colleges, right? Or they would help you get GED prep, because some people just couldn't do the night school stuff, right? After you graduate with either your diploma or GED, which is one and the same, so don't let anyone tell you it's a difference. Then they did the interview prep, resume prep, and if you were interested, they would help you look into financial aid to go to different colleges. You had to go to like junior college, community college route first, Kingsborough, something like that, and then work your way to something better. So it was a great program. Of course, they got rid of it immediately. And it was meant for minorities. It was they actually did it in, so if you know the projects in Brooklyn, the first floor has always got some kind of community center or something. They did it in one of the projects in Howard Houses in Brownsville. So I did that, and then I was taking it serious. I got my high school diploma, and then I started looking at colleges, and Long Island University came up. It's the satellite. It's in downtown Brooklyn. And I got in. I was like, all right, cool. So I started going to college. My major was computer science. And then I quit because like other stuff happened. I had a kid and other stuff. I was into some other stuff back then, which some different stuff. Because I needed money now. I had a kid, so I was like, I had to hustle, right? So I did that for a while, and I realized, wow, I'm the worst like drug dealer ever. I keep getting caught. I keep getting beat on the weight. Like, I was a terrible drug dealer.
So I'm not trying to cut Pretty Ricky's story off, because I'm glad that you're telling your story, but we have to like tell them the reason why. Like,
why I was a bad drug dealer?
No, not why you was a bad drug dealer. The reason why you're telling your story is getting to that point. Because like some people, it's like the reason why he's telling this story is because he's been through adversity, right?
It wasn't rose.
And it was not good. So if he can make it out, I'm gonna let him continue telling his story. Then you definitely can. And this should be an inspiration. This should motivate you. If you don't have anyone to motivate you and inspire you, then you should listen to his story and you can get it from him.
What was the last thing?
The
bad
not
drug
too not too good drug dealer.
All right, so trying to do that, I'm going on Greyhound buses back and forth down south from New York down there back. It's horrific. I'm losing money. A couple of times I had to get rid of stuff because I thought maybe the cops might know. I was just paranoid. Anyway, I ended up failing at that. So then I just meandered for a while, right? I just existed, wherever I could make a penny, I did. I got into sticking people up. To tell you the truth. That's the truth. I started robbing people. I had a little black 32 and I started putting it in people's faces and taking their stuff. And I got caught one day. Can I tell this?
It's on you. This is your story.
So, man, I don't know if it's real. Anyway, I'll tell you, whatever. I used to get people in the morning. So I would get up at like 6. And I used to play How About Some Hardcore by MOP in my headphones. Smoke a blunt. And then I'd go out to the train stations and I would wait and just stand around and wait. I had on my army fatigue, and, we couldn't wear masks back then. That was stopping frisk time, so you couldn't do that. So I would have it down here, and when it was time to go, I'd pull it up like that. And I would just wait. And usually, if I'm gonna be honest, might as well be, I wait for women. Because women are gonna probably put up less of a fight than a dude, right? The woman is gonna comply and give me a pocketbook. She doesn't wanna die. She's probably the only one working in the house as it is. I'm taking her rent money, whatever. Anyway, I've had many sleepless nights over this. So I'd wait and look for women, preferably older women. So I run up on this woman, and so I had been out all morning. and I didn't find anyone. We call them Vicks back then. I don't know what they call them now. I didn't find anyone that looked like a candidate. So I'm walking back from the train station back to my crib, and this woman, I can see she's rushing. And I'm like, I gotta rob somebody. I've been out here all day and I have no money. So I'm about to go home with no money. So that means I'm not gonna have any money until tomorrow morning when I try it again. There she is, I'm gonna do it. I run up on her, put the gun in her face. I try to take her pocketbook. She actually resisted a little bit because, like I said, who knows what that money meant to her that was in that pocketbook, right? And then, I made the threats, I'll do blah, blah, blah. And she, kindly gave me her purse. So I started running away. Once I got a few blocks away, I started slowing down. And I keep turning around and I see some dude kind of, what appears to me is he's following me and he's got a hood on. So I start walking some more and I cut down the street. And when I get to the end of the block, I turn around, that same dude is still there walking with this hood on. So I'm positive at this point that dude seen me rob that lady, or she told someone and he's following me to see where I go. So I can't go home. So I detoured and I start walking. I'm in their neighborhood too. So I just robbed this woman in her neighborhood, and I got to get out of this neighborhood because I was in someone else's neighborhood trying to make it to mine. And I'm walking down the street and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a silver Nissan Sentra, the square one. Came zooming down the street and almost hit me, and I ran and I jumped up on the curb, and the dude jumped out, and they had, I don't know what the thing we used to put on the steering wheel. You remember that?
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So nobody won't jack the car.
So you won't be able to steal the car. So he's like, got this, and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? I don't actually really want to shoot anybody. So I go running back around the block. I dump all my stuff. I dump the gun in the garbage can, and I dump the purse. And I tried to put it in the garbage can that I would remember so I could come back and get it later. I take off my army fatigue coat, and this is like winter, so I'm freezing. So it's clearly I'm the guy, because now I don't have a coat on and it's like New York 20 degrees, right? So I go back down the block, and the car, I'm like, these dudes is like freaking Jack Reacher or Jason Bourne. Like the ability to follow me was incredible. They pull up right in front of me. They throw me in the car. I'm positive I died. I'm dying. I started to accept the fact that I'm getting ready to die. And the dude in the front is poking me with the thing. We saw you. That's our family member you robbed. Where's the purse? I'll tell you the truth. I was crying. That's a fact. I was 100% positive I was about to die. And they're like, we will let you go if you take us to the purse. So I was crying, all right, man. Just promise you're gonna let me go. I'll accept you kicking my ass. Just don't kill me, So I take them back around to where I dumped the stuff. They go, they find the stuff, everything's still in it. I didn't do anything. They find my gun. So I'm like, damn, I'm gonna die by my own gun. They drive me around some more. I'm still crying. I'm not gonna lie about it. Please. I had a baby not too long ago. That's why I'm out here. I'm trying to feed him. Please don't kill me. And they saw me, and they saw the sheer fear and weakness, and they let me go. And I stayed in the house for a month after that because I was terrified, because they let me go, and then I had to go walking home with no coat, and I was positive they followed me. So for about a month, I would not leave my house if my house was on fire, I was just gonna burn up. Wasn't going outside that day.